Hey, Friendo, Steve here.
And Larson.
And welcome back to Going In Raw, the only pro wrestling podcast you need to be listening to right here at youtube.com/Steve and Larson, available wherever podcasts can be found. And of course, taped live at the twitch.tv/Steve and Larson. Coming up in about a week and a half or so, we've got Full Gear with the Enforcer, with me, the Church of Friendos, minus Larson, who's going to be in the happiest place on the planet, allegedly, the Disneyland. What are you looking forward to more with Disneyland? The Star Wars stuff or the Avengers campus?
So this will be my kids' first time at Disneyland. So it's, priority is on what they want to do.
Yeah, sure. As long as what they want to do is either Star Wars or Avengers, right?
It's what they want to do, and so whatever they want to do, we'll do. If we don't get Star Wars, we don't get the Avengers, so be it. I'm sure we'll go to Disneyland at some other point. Man, it's going to be crazy busy anyway. So if it's a choice between,
take care of yourself, man.
Listen here. If it's a choice between waiting 4 hours in line to be the pilot of the Millennium Falcon ride,
yeah, it's worth it.
Or going on like 4 rides and span those 4 hours, I'll take the 4 rides.
Wow, man, you're a bigger man than I.
Here, breaking news. This is very exciting. Tony Khan apparently said on Wrestling Observer Live today that FTR is going to defend the AAA tag titles against Aerostar and the Samurai Del Sol, who someone in the chat here says is Kalisto.
Oh, that's cool. When? At Full Gear?
Tonight?
That's happening tonight? A mega AAA tag titles on the line? Wow.
Yeah.
That's cool. That's really neat. Aerostar, are they going to drop Aerostar in?
If they're going to do it right, then yes.
Wow, that's amazing. That's really cool. Yeah, he better jump off something. It's his whole shtick, or go traveling through time. One of the two things. Mm-hmm. So that's cool. So anyways, we got that coming up this weekend. It's going to be a pretty quiet weekend. I want to say thanks to all the friendos for hanging out with me and the Enforcer over at the MF Steve here.
Wait, what's going on this weekend?
I said it's going to be a quiet weekend.
Oh, I thought you said you have something coming up this weekend.
No, quietness at the Twitch channel there. I don't know. I might goof off on mine. I don't know. But I want to say thanks to everybody over at twitch.tv/MF Steve here. Our core programming at this point is Tuesday nights just watching NXT. So, that's what we got going on right now.
I spent my Tuesday evening finally getting started on Squid Games.
We just finished that last night. Oh man, it's so good. It's really good. Do you enjoy the first one so far?
Yeah, I watched the first 2 and they're all okay. Okay.
The first, it's all set up. It's all just set up. Once you get deep into it, like 5, honestly, the whole thing sucked me in, but especially once you actually get into the game and stuff. Oh man, it's really, really good stuff. So yeah, that's all that's going on. We're going to talk about last night's NXT 2.0 episode. Certainly a lot going on there in the NXT universe for us to chew on and maybe talk a little bit of shit about. Because, there's a lot going on. There's an
interesting episode.
A candidate. I want you guys to think about this right now, and I want you to think about this, Larson. Think about some of the contestants, the candidates for the cringiest segments of the year as it relates to what we saw last night. Because last night was one of those where if Lacey walked into the room, I would be so I might quit going in. I'm like, look, I can't continue to review wrestling because of this segment.
We'll get into that when we talk about that segment. I have some thoughts. I'm a bit conflicted about it, I'll be honest with you.
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, we'll get to that in a second. But first off, something a little kind of serious that's going down over there in AEW. So Tony Khan tweeted this out last night, said, Jon Moxley has allowed me to share with you that he is entering an inpatient alcohol treatment program. Jon is a beloved member of the AEW family. We all stand with him and Renee and all of his family and friends as he shifts to his focus to recovery. Jon is making a very brave choice to get help, and we're embracing his choice and supporting him however we can. I'm proud to call Jon a friend, and like many of you, I'm also a fan of Mox and look forward to a time in the future when he is eventually ready to return to the ring. Until then, thank you for supporting Jon and respecting his privacy at this time. Renee Paquette tweeted today obviously his wife, said, "Thanks for this outpouring of support. John is every bit of the badass we all know him to be. I couldn't be more proud of him for getting the proper help he needs and being given the space to put his health first. Couldn't possibly love this man more." So our thoughts and our well wishes go out to Mox, to Jonathan Good.
Wishing Mox the absolute best.
Absolutely. Yeah, it is a brave thing to, say, hey, I have a problem. I need to fix this. I need to go get help. So, all the best to him. Let's pivot to how this will affect the world of wrestling, which obviously is low on the list of priorities when it comes to, in comparison to a man's health and his well-being. But we cover wrestling here, and it's not out of sorts to ask. We're in the middle of this contenders tournament, the Eliminator tournament, which the finals are going to be going down at Full Gear. Common sense sort of said it was going to be Mox versus Brian Danielson in the finals there. That's a big match, and one that I think a lot of us very interested in seeing. Obviously, that's not going to happen now. If you take a look at the brackets, what is it? I was of the opinion that Mox was going to actually deliver Daniel Bryan his first actual loss in AEW. I thought that Mox makes total sense for Hangman's first challenger. He's a former champion. He's doing this murder dad thing right now. Hangman is a new father. Mox is a new father. There's personal stuff they can mine. Two characters, that are very different, but have their own similarities. That's obviously off the table now. Daniel Bryan, you'd think would be, they'd pivot to making him the number one contender. I wouldn't see him taking that title off of Hangman Page, and they could totally do a thing where, hey, Hangman is proven his bona fides fighting Daniel Bryan, who's got a bit of an edge of his own.
Oh, definitely.
Is that how you see it going now, Daniel Bryan? Well, how do you think they're going to do this tournament?
AEW did announce tonight that Orange Cassidy will have a match, for the semifinal of that side of the bracket. I believe that's what the tweet said. So I don't know how they're going to approach that, whether they're going to, say maybe earlier tonight. I think someone suggested here that they have essentially a second chance match, winner of that match, go on to take on Orange Cassidy tonight, or if they just select somebody. I don't know. I honestly don't know.
Yeah,
it'll be interesting to see how it plays out. You would, until we know who is going to take on Orange Cassidy tonight, it's hard to really say who would potentially win the finals. You'd think the odds-on pick would be Bryan Danielson, but if they were pretty intent on not wanting to do Danielson versus Page yet, then it's entirely possible they go a different direction. I just don't know.
I'm trying to think of somebody that sort of there aren't a lot of people that fill those specific boxes with Mox. If they wanted that to be Hangman's first challenge, a guy who is a former champion. So those are few and far between, because you're just looking at Jericho. Yeah, who?
Miro.
Yeah, Miro, but I don't know if they'd have Miro. I don't think Miro's a big enough. Like, if they go with Miro all the way through, let's say that my idea, were you thinking that Mox was going to be the guy to beat Danielson as well?
Probably.
Yeah. If they were to do that, I don't see Miro. Maybe it's just my own bias because I still don't see him there. He's not a former world champion.
How about this? Cody loses to open the show against Andrade. That breaks him. He turns heel.
Yeah.
He says, I want to be in this tournament. And then he goes to the final.
Nuclear. Especially if he beats Bryanson.
I know.
Nuclear.
How about that?
It. You do it. You do the Tessa shirt where he's standing there as a nuclear bomb going off. Because that's the kind of heat that would get.
It would get some pretty serious heat.
Yeah. So, like you said, it's hard to know until we see who Orange Cassidy is going to fight. I would have to believe, though, that, one of the more obvious choices for, I don't know. What's Lance Archer up to these days?
I don't know. We never got a word on his injury.
Oh my God, that's right. Yeah, he had that horrible moonsault thing.
He kind of landed on his head, so we haven't really got any firm details on injury status there.
Yeah. I see some ideas here in our chat. Oh, I'm sorry, were you going to say something?
No, go ahead.
I see some ideas here in the chat. Prime Joy Bearding here says Malachi Black. He is firmly ensconced Cody Island, man. He is not. I don't know if he's going to beat anybody anytime soon. Let's see here. Mr. Dope says it should be Hobbs. Yeah, I would love that. But as you say, Mr. Dope, it's AEW. I don't know if that's going to happen. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. CM Punk is doing his own story right now. He's doing a thing. He's not qualified to be in this tournament because he's having a hard enough time against guys like Bob Fish. I would love for it to be Hobbs. I would love for them to push Hobbs. They should push Hobbs.
Yeah, they should.
He's great.
Push Hobbs.
Get him out of Team Taz, for God's sakes.
Yes. Another couple names here about Pac.
Yeah, Pac would be good. Yeah, Pac would be good. Oh, man, Pac versus Bryan in the finals? Ooh.
Yeah, no.
That'd be killer. Yeah.
That would be great.
Yeah.
That'd be great.
I like all that stuff. Yeah. Oh, wow. Dan's rating us. What's up, Dan?
Oh, hi, Dan.
Hey, what's up, everybody? This is where we pause the podcast and say, welcome, everybody. We're wrestling YouTuber, Twitch streamers / YouTubers / podcasters. Did Dan tell you guys who we are? Hopefully.
Hi, everybody.
Hopefully you guys like wrestling. Anyways, yeah.
I mean, MJF is involved in something right now, but if you want to get a heel in the tournament, you know, I guess maybe he could wrestle 2 matches in a night.
Yeah.
Maybe he has his match against Darby at Full Gear early on, loses that one, comes back, beats Danielson for the tournament.
Oh, man, that's a big night for him. Yeah.
That'd be a pretty huge night.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. The thing is, they have any number of people who could totally fill that spot. Here's the thing. There's no, unless Tony Khan is dead set against Bryan Danielson eating a loss in the finals, or a loss this early against Hangman Page. Unless he's dead set against that, then otherwise, why don't I mean, look, I don't think there's any problem going with Danielson. No. You know, have him eat a loss to Page. It's a big deal. I mean, that's a title shot, and you know why you don't want. I mean, I could see the arguments for. Yeah, he's not going to win the title. Yeah, you could do that.
Yeah, and I think ultimately that's one of the reasons you have Danielson in the company is to help build up the future of AEW.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, Wandering Man of Thirst says Wardlow, put him in the tournament, have him go against Page, but MJF cost him the title shot.
I'm not sure. It's a great idea.
Not a terrible idea. I think that's good.
I'm not sure how many story ripples they're going to want. I mean, Tony Khan does seem like the kind of guy who's like, he has his roads that he set up, and I'm not sure how many ripples he wants coming out of this thing. With such a pretty big substitution that he's going to need to have here. So I don't know. It is good. It's going to be interesting to see how they pivot and eventually, you know, what the story, what it's going to be, what the original plan was, if it was going to be Mox. I mean, for all we know, the entire time it was going to be Bryan Danielson.
Yeah,
and it kind of doesn't matter at this point. You know, you just plop somebody in there. Either Orange Cassidy wins, and they have a really cool comedy, you know, match that starts getting chippy towards the finish, and then it gets into a real, you know, vicious match. Anyway, you know, sort of on par with that big news. We also have probably bigger news. Heel Season 2 has been announced. It's confirmed by the Stars, Heels on Stars Twitter account. They said, what is it here?
We made this announcement.
This one's for the fans.
Steve.
Yeah, Steve. Yeah, at MF Steve here. Good news. It's happening. Season 2.
It's back.
So, I mean,
Steve rejoiced.
This is kind of up in the air, man. It's not like people were talking about heels the way they're talking about Squid Game, but then very few shows are. Heels Season 2. Heels a really fun show. A great mix of drama, of the corniness you'd expect from a drama about wrestling. You know, this is really good stuff. I'm really happy that it got a Season 2 because the way they finished it, it was a bit of a cliffhanger, but at the same time with wrestling, everything's a cliffhanger. So you did get some amount of resolution. It did a thing where it could totally go on, but there was enough closure there that I didn't necessarily.
If it
didn't, it's not like, from what I understand, I never finished Glow season 3, but from what I understand, there was a bit of a cliffhanger there.
Yeah.
And then it's like, it's just done.
It's done.
It's done.
Yeah, I only watched the first 3 episodes of Heels, and I like what I saw. I don't pay for stars, so
yeah.
And once it's available again, the whole thing on Amazon Prime, then I'll watch it. I'll catch up on it.
Yeah, exactly.
I like what I saw.
Yeah, no, it's good stuff. All right, let's take a quick break here to get a word in from our sponsor, Chime. So, Larson.
Yeah.
I'm sure you know the feeling, man, especially you. It's the end of the month, and maybe you're a little tight on money, so you got to deal with the stress of your account balance running low. Then add on top of that the prospect of getting hit with that $33 overdraft fee if you happen to spend even just a little bit too much. It's really enough to make you want to pull the hair out of your head. Does that sound familiar to you, Larson?
Yeah, I've been there before. Overdraft fees have gotten out of control. In 2019, traditional banks took in $11 billion in overdraft fees. Hey, but we're here to tell you that Chime does things differently.
Yeah, man. Chime is an award-winning app and debit card that has saved its members more than $10 billion in overdraft fees thanks to Spot Me fee-free overdraft. Eligible members can overdraft up to $200 on debit card purchases and cash withdrawals with absolutely no fees.
Now, you deserve to have financial peace of mind. Join the millions of Americans already loving Chime. Sign up takes only 2 minutes and does not affect your credit score. Get started today at chime.com/raw. That's chime.com/raw.
Banking services provided by and debit card issued by the Bancorp Bank or Stride Bank N.A. Members FDIC. Spot Me eligibility requirements apply. Overdraft only applies to debit card purchases and cash withdrawals. Limits start at $20 and may be increased up to $200 by Chime. Chime member overdraft fee savings based on eligible members' use of Spot Me versus $33 average overdraft fee. Overdraft fee data based on bank rate checking account survey and CRL June 2020 overdraft fees report.
Before we get back to the show, let's get a word from our sponsor, Paint Your Life, Steve. I can't put into words how excited I am that I have this portrait of us and Sid that I got from Paint Your Life. You know, it really brings back some really awesome memories of her time at the office. And I think really it ties the whole room together.
Oh, man, I agree. I totally agree. I love that painting. It looks great.
It does.
But I got to ask you, man, on the real, are you sure your wife really wants a portrait of Sid in her bedroom?
That's a fair question. I understand why you'd ask that. And while my wife may not admire Sid like we do, she does admire a fine piece of art. And that's what this is. And it's great how easy Paint Your Life makes getting custom-made, hand-painted art on your walls. All you got to do is send them a picture, and one of their world-class artists will hand-paint you a portrait at an affordable price. I mean, I got this incredible piece of art made to remember some of the best times going in Raw history. It only took about 3 weeks to get to my home and on my wall. So if you're looking for the perfect holiday gift for someone you love or for yourself, then check out Paint Your Life.
At paintyourlife.com, there's no risk. If you don't love the final painting, your money is refunded, guaranteed. And right now, as a limited time offer, get 20% off your painting. That's right, 20% off and free shipping. To get this special offer, text the word RAW to 64,000. That's RAW to 64,000. Text RAW to 64,000. Paint your life. Celebrate the moments that matter most. All right, man, let's talk about NXT 2.0. So this week, I'm trying to find...
So like last week, we had Halloween Havoc, which I thought was a decent balance of decent to pretty good in-ring action.
Mm-hmm.
And there was enough goofy charm.
Yeah.
That it was overall a pretty entertaining show.
Yeah.
This week it felt like they maybe leaned a little too much into the goofiness.
This was extra good to watch with people because when me and the Enforcer in our chat is sitting there just clowning the shit out of it, you know, you're not getting like, oh, this is compelling TV, but it's good to make fun of. Okay, let's just get this out of the way. There was 2 segments that were just completely and totally like the kind of segments where if a family member walks in, you're like, I feel like an idiot for having this on my TV. One of them we can both agree on. The other one you said you're conflicted by, but one of them we can both agree on, Duke's poker room.
What a terrible poker player he is. Terrible.
Is it? Let's just rewind a little bit. Big picture. Does Duke Hudson understand, like the performer? Does he understand that this is a gag and not like a freaking dramatic film role that he's playing? He's playing it so straight. He's playing it so humorlessly.
This is what I think it is. Maybe they asked him, "Hey, what do you like doing?" "I like to play cards." "All right, you're a poker player now." And it instantly is like,
I don't think. No, here's the thing. I don't even think the guy likes playing poker. See, what you're about to talk about when it comes to the actual details of poker and how clearly
he said he likes to play cards. He didn't say he liked to play poker. Maybe he loves Uno for all we know. Okay.
Yeah.
He just says, I like to play cards.
It's a poker player.
You're a poker player. And the reason his performance is such as what it is maybe he realized this is garbage and is trying to sink it.
I hope that's the case.
You do enough, 2, 3, 4 weeks of bad segments.
Maybe they'll just ditch it.
Back to the drawing board with you, Duke.
Because for one thing, it's clearly just a ripoff of Swingers Palace. Isn't that what it was called? Swingers.
Swingers Palace. Yeah.
Which
zero charm to it. Zero charm.
With none of the charm. None of it. Duke Hudson thinks that the performer thinks that he's doing like serious work, or he's trying to tank it. Either one. The frustration and just he's playing this role so humorlessly. And I'm like, you're wearing a gold vest that looks like it was crafted in 15 minutes with fabric from, the Hobby Lobby or whatever. You got 13 gold chains on. Looks like costume jewelry. And
probably is.
You're running and it's lit like it's a mid-90s porno. And you got Cameron Grimes in there who does terrific comedy stuff. And they're using this old school trope of idiot who accidentally stumbles into a good, and with actually, I'm sorry, a very clever pun at the end when he won with twos and he said, "You won with two, you bluffed me with twos to the moon." That was actually funny. I laughed at that because it's so bad. But like, it was so bad.
It was bad. It's bad from a production standpoint. It's bad from a character standpoint. And if you want me to believe that Duke Hudson is actually good at poker, then actually like read up on poker strategy.
Yeah.
If you got two aces in the holes and you're just like barely putting any money in, because I mean, it's your expectation. Because what Duke said afterward is, you didn't fold with a pair of twos.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
If your goal is to have your opponent fold, then you got to start pushing some money in there.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Yeah. You still toss a couple of things, especially when your opponent keeps checking and doesn't raise.
Yeah.
If your opponent checks and he just puts a little money in, and the opponent just calls and doesn't raise, I mean, like, it's gonna go the distance.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't get it.
It was.
I mean, I don't know a ton about poker. I know there's various strategies. I know we have a friend who's very good at it.
Yeah.
I'd like to see his take on all this.
I don't, because it'd be so embarrassing for him to be like, this is what you guys, you have to review this stuff.
Well, I'd be like, this is kind of the lowest priority show we do, but this is one we just kind of spend as much time, talking trash about it as actually enjoying.
It was, but I guess my thing is this, like, I don't expect anybody there to be a poker expert. I don't expect Duke Hudson to be a poker expert. What I do expect is some amount of humor placed into his performance. And it was completely it was so on the wrong page. It was so completely tonally wrong. And I'm like, what the hell? Like, why is he playing this so straight? So that was bad. But what really just, I felt so embarrassed watching it, was the Zion Quinn Robert Stone bit. That was the corny, I can't stand this corny shit where Zion Quinn, who by the way looks like $1 million and should not be doing this stuff, is challenged by Robert Stone to like a singing and dancing competition. Robert Stone does one, and it's terrible. And then Zion Quinn looks like he's about to whoop his ass. Instead, they start playing Shawn Michaels' theme song, which immediately threw me off because I'm like, holy shit, is he going to show up? Is he going to be like the new general manager? That's kind of cool because he's running stuff there. Yeah. But instead, Zion Quinn starts singing and dancing to his theme song. And I was like, this is the cringiest shit I've ever seen. This is so bad. I was so embarrassed watching it.
It was bad. It was bad. I didn't think it was as bad as it probably could have been.
What else could have made it worse, though?
I thought there was a couple moments in it that were actually kind of clever that actually made me chuckle a little bit. Is when they start, it was like the first time Stone tried to attack Zion, and he turned to a dance move and like dipped him essentially. I was like, okay, that's kind of fun.
That was so bad.
And then when he charges him again, he does the dirty dancing thing where he lifts him over his head. I'm like, okay, this is kind of clever. Those two moments were a little clever.
I appreciate that you found some value into it because the entire thing, I was like, I feel
the setup was bad. You know, Quinn had a decent singing voice. Mm-hmm. You know, it wasn't good. Mm-hmm. There was two little things like, okay, that's clever. Yeah. They tried to do something clever with it.
The one thing I can appreciate is Zion Quinn. I will say this. That guy gave everything he had to it. He committed to the segment in a way that Duke Hudson ran away from his. So I can appreciate that Zion Quinn stepped out of what must be a comfort zone for anybody and did his best. I will absolutely appreciate the performer for giving it their all when handed something that a lot of other people would be like, oh, this is so bad. Yeah. So in that respect, I can appreciate it, but I just felt so bad. I was like, oh God, this is so bad.
It was bad. I mean, NXT is definitely in the period where they're just throwing whatever they can against the wall and see what sticks. Mm-hmm. Yeah. You know, and while this type of stuff isn't necessarily for me, mm-hmm. I appreciate they're trying to mix things up and not just because there's plenty of this also on the show. Fall back into the usual tropes of pro wrestling.
Yeah, right.
You know, they're trying. It seems like with this bit, they're trying to do something different. You know, mm-hmm. And it doesn't work. No, not really. But they're trying. Mm-hmm. And if they can find ways to kind of freshen up the language of pro wrestling for NXT and come upon something that's actually interesting and creative and is actually pretty neat, then I'd be totally into it.
I am really curious to know, and I will probably never know, but you know, obviously with Triple H recovering from his heart issue, we all know Shawn Michaels is running the show there. I'm really curious at this point if Vince McMahon has just been like, yeah, whatever, like it is what, you know, I'm done with it. You know, I set it up. Me and Bruce set it up, and now HBK is running things. I'm curious, like if he's being thrown directives, hey, do a singing bit, because it's like, you know, we all know they're just really trying desperately to go after that 18 to 49 demographic. That's what we've heard. That's what we've heard. And I mean, there are certain aspects of the show that it's clear that they're trying to do that. That kind of thing, I don't think is going to do the trick. But you know, it is what it is, and I actually do enjoy. I have come to appreciate watching the process of trying to figure out what they're supposed to be, because it is interesting, and it's not
at moments, yeah,
and it's not all bad. They do have some things that they can work with here. There wasn't a lot to go on this week, like. No. Yeah.
So, you know, I was thinking.
I love Andre Chase.
Yeah, he was fun tonight. That the Zion Quinn segment. That's one of those things that you watch and you're like, why are they doing this? Mm-hmm. But then you think, okay, this is something they can clip, throw up on YouTube. It's like a 3-minute thing. They'll get passed around. People be like, oh, this is ridiculous, and maybe you know it'll catch some get rolling there. But then here I'm looking at it. It's got 47,000 views, which
is not great.
not that great. I mean, the top view getter looks like is the EO segment with Mandy.
What'd that get?
So that's at 197.
I would think anything with Mandy would do huge numbers. Well, relative to anything else on NXT. I think that what you just said is probably their philosophy on stuff like this. Like, hey, let's do some nutty shit and see if it gets any traction on social media. But like the actual substance of it really does kind of matter. And that kind of stuff is just, oh man, it's pretty ugly when it's happening. But like I said, hats off to the performers for giving it a go.
Yeah. Robert Stone, Zion Quinn, they both gave it their all.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they did, and they should be commended for that. But
yep.
But yeah, it's just funny, man. It's like, I don't know. I have no idea who they have over there in terms besides, HBK running things or what ideas, how ideas get through the process of NXT. We kind of have a semi-understanding of how it works on main roster. You have your writing staffs. They filter it up through Bruce Pritchard. He gets it up to Vince McMahon, and then he either rips it all up and writes it himself or not. But with NXT, I don't know if it's a little bit different. I don't know if it's the kind of thing where Vince sort of set it up and was like, hey, run with it. And now I'm hands off now, or if he's hands on, I don't know. Kind of interesting. Also, we got the first word from Braun Breaker in terms of, I actually really liked his promo because it felt genuine in relation to the character. He didn't come out like an idiot and say, oh, he got lucky that day. He totally understood. The one thing I don't have experience is what I lack, and that dude set up trap for me after trap, and that's exactly how that match played out. And he's pissed off about it, and he wants to get to the point where he wants to wreck him.
It's not about wins and losses. It's about wins and
learns.
And he realized that he has to learn to get some experience under his belt. Yeah, I really liked it. They took the story they told in the match, had him comment on that story, realized he got worked. His inexperience potentially cost him the NXT title. And now he knows what he needs to work on, and I like that. It's simple stuff, but that's how you develop a character with dimension. Rather than him just screaming on the mic, you want a friend, get a dog, I don't give a shit. Now we're seeing, okay, he's understanding this is what I need to do to get better. Now he has to go out and do that.
I thought that was solid stuff. And it's interesting to see where they go from there. And I mean, it seems like the next challenger for champ is going to be Carmelo Hayes. I mean, from what we saw last night anyways. I was doing so good last night with the Steven Larson channel points on MF Steve here. I was doing so good. I was winning all those bets, and then it came down to the main event, and I bet on, I figured Trick Williams would eat the pin because he's Trick Williams, and he got 3 vets in there. You got 2, a champion, Gargano and Loomis, but they came out on top.
Yeah. How many did you lose there?
Oh, man, I think a lot. So many. I was up to like 2,500. I entered the night with like 180. We did, you and I. And I got it up to 2,500. And I lost it all on that main event. Anyways, let's dive into this. Mandy Rose.
Well, you got a chance, at least for your personal channel, to get those numbers up for Smash Zone tomorrow. That's true. I know I need it. Why don't you talk about this Mandy Rose bit, and I'm going to load up the stream so I can start racking up some channel points. There you go. So the show opened up with Mandy Rose promo. She said, been telling you week after week I was going to be champion. And because I'm a woman of my word, I did it. I beat Raquel, became champ. She says, with title around my waist, we as in the W Universe were following her every move and her and Toxic. Every move her and Toxic Attraction make. And she's like, speaking of Toxic Attraction, where are Gigi and JC? And we go backstage. They're laying out Zoe Stark in the locker room. She's holding her knee. Apparently, that injury is legit. There was a couple times last week during her match at Halloween Havoc, looked like she could have hurt herself. Yeah. Apparently that's legit. So that's one reason why EO was, Yeah. So Mandy says, I taught them well. They run NXT, and there's no one who's going to stop them. And if there's anyone who thinks differently, and then she's interrupted by EO. EO says, I don't like Zoe, but I like you even less. I want you right now. And Mandy says, hold on. Everyone in the locker room used to be scared of you, EO, but I'm not. Ref, come out here. And while EO turns around to see if a ref's coming out, Mandy cheap shots her with the mic, sends her to the floor, slams her head in the announce table, then sends her to the ring post, puts her back in the ring. She tells Io, this isn't the old NXT. This is 2.0. You'll never look like me. And then Io hits some strikes, German suplex, running knees in the corner. She goes up for a moonsault. And then JC and Gigi come to the ring. Io tries her best to fend them off. She can't. And then Casey Catanzaro and Caden Carter run out to make the save. So we're getting that match, 6-woman tag match next week.
Yeah, that'll be a good one. Casey and Caden are a lot of fun to watch, so that'll be good. Afterwards, we had Toxic Attraction walking backstage. They walk up to Dakota Kai. Dakota Kai's like, and Manny's sort of like, say, hey, brother. And Dakota Kai's like, hey, whoa, I didn't do that at Halloween Havoc to help you. I did it to help end Raquel. And then Dakota Kai heads to the ring. But before we get to see Dakota Kai versus her in her match against Cora Jade, we had the first segment of Duke's Poker Room. So Grimes walks in. Duke calls him easy money. The buy-in is $500. Grimes tosses a lot more than that on the table. Duke says, it'd be easier just for you to give me all your money right now. Save all the embarrassment of losing it and striking out with the ladies. And Grimes says, I'm not here for the ladies. I'm here to gamble. But he thinks he's playing 21. He's like, hit me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we got Dakota Kai versus Cora Jade. Down the stretch, Dakota's looking for go to kick. Cora escapes that, rolls her up. Dakota escapes that roll up, hits the scorpion kick, and then the face wash kick in the corner for the win. And then afterwards, she pulls Cora Jade out of the ring to the floor around kind of like to the foot of the ramp, and then slams her face into the mat, and then pulls out a table from under the ring and just puts it over her head. And she gets on the apron like she's about to do maybe like a stomp or something off the apron. She hesitates, goes down, and like kind of looks at Cora under the table, then goes and gets her skateboard and just kind of puts it over her midsection and then walks off.
She's conflicted.
Yeah.
If you thought I was going to stomp this table, you're wrong.
You're wrong.
Yeah. After that, I really liked how this was filmed. It just looked good. It was very simply filmed, the MSK thing. So they're outside, and Carter's like, man, I feel like we're really lacking something without these tag titles. Wesley says, we've had them for so long, we forgot what it's like to hunt. Carter said, well, maybe we have to reach the lowest of lows to go back to the highest of highs. And Wesley asks, if is it what we're paying, is it worth it to get some advice? They start talking about this person, that this mysterious person, and Carter sees he's like, this guy has helped millions, and he came up with the legend of MSK. And Carter's like, oh yeah, well tell to me again. And so as he's about to explain the legend of the name MSK, this bus rolls by. It takes forever, and as it goes, because it's like rolls by in front of between the camera and MSK.
Yeah, in front of camera. It's really loud as buses are. Yes.
And so and then he's like, and that's the story of MSK. And so Lee's like, oh man, that's so great. That guy deserves all the money. He's like, but that was our bus right there. And he's like, we'll just walk. So I'm like, okay. He's like, we got some supplies. We got the supplies.
Who is it? Should be Shawn Michaels. That's who it should be.
MSK. I mean, it's a Heartbreak Kid. There's some speculation that they're the must-see kids. I mean, there are similarities. I mean, they're clearly influenced by the guy. Wouldn't that be great? What if it's his character from that Avengers movie, the Avengers of Justice?
That's good. Even
that
better.
Guy. Wasn't he like a Yoda guy in that or something?
Yeah, something like that. Well, you watched the movie. You tell me.
I don't remember. It was like almost a year ago.
It was. I know. After that, then we had Zion Quinn versus Robert Stone. And as we mentioned at the beginning of the show, Stone calls out Zion because Zion embarrassed him last week during the Halloween party.
Oh, God. What if it's RVD? A lot of people in chat saying RVD.
That could be something.
Oh, man.
That'd be something. Stone says Quinn is jealous of him. Everyone is jealous of him because he can do anything. Says, I'll out-sing you, and then I'll stomp you, and I'll pin you 1, 2, 3. And then Robert Stone starts singing Frankie Monet's theme. Not very good. Crowd boos. Stone says crowd loved his performance and asked Quinn if he could do better. At first, Quinn says, no, it's interesting, but I just came out here to kick your ass. And then Stone says, "What are you, Zion? Chicken?" Zion says, "All right, let's do it. Play my music. It's Shawn Michaels theme." He sings. Actually does a pretty decent job singing it.
It wasn't terrible, yeah.
It wasn't terrible. Stone tries to attack him. He counters the attacks with dance moves, and I actually thought that was fairly clever. So they did the dirty dancing bit when Quinn's letting Stone down. Stone hits him. Things get serious there. Bell rings. Quinn makes pretty quick work of Robert Stone and wins with the jackhammer.
Yeah. That should be his new finish, by the way.
Yeah. It should be. There's a couple moves. He did something that looked a lot like Buddy Murphy's old finish, too.
Yeah. After that, we had a Joe Gacy promo. This was chock full of stock footage. Who knows where they got it from, but whenever he would talk, it's like B-roll. So whenever he's talking to illustrate his point, they'd cut to he talks about, he starts up saying the world should be a happy place, but it's nothing but a cesspool full of closed-minded individuals. We live in a world where the goal is to drag people down and hope they fail. And it cuts to people like arguing with each other, people on their phones. He says, take social media designed for people to share ideas, but now it's full of negative energy. People make judgments based on appearances. That is not inclusion. He calls a man a monster, and they show a picture of Harland. And he says, why? Because he's tall, because he has tattoos, because he has a shaved head. We alienate a man, but that stops now. And he says, we're going to change the world together. Did you get any clues from this as to what the relationship is? I mean, this is probably some dude he knows. It's probably some dude he knows.
Yeah, there's probably nothing deeper than this is just some dude he knows.
Yeah.
Then we get Legado walking backstage. They walk up to Zion Quinn. Elektra Lopez says, hey, I didn't know you had that side of him. Quinn says, I have many different sides. And Lopez says, okay, that's something that I could work with. So who knows where this is leading?
Yeah. I mean, they want to, do we have a Blue Chew read today? Here's Zion Quinn. Oh, man. You want to have some of that extra confidence when approaching Elektra Lopez. I don't know. Anyways. I mean, it had all the hallmarks of stuff's about to happen there. Anyways, after that, we had Kyle O'Reilly and Von Wagner. Von Wagner and his young boy, Kyle O'Reilly.
Yeah.
Versus...
I like the commentary was trying to say that Kyle O'Reilly has taken Von Wagner under his wing. I'm like, have you been watching these video packages? It's the opposite.
Clearly.
It's the total opposite.
Clearly, Von Wagner is taking Kyle O'Reilly under his... I mean, they show up to train, and he's like, no, you're doing it wrong.
I know.
You shouldn't be riding a bike and working on your cardio. You should drive a truck and then carry
this 15-pound branch up the hill.
Oh man, I was doing some of those. I have this little tree thing in my backyard that I think has been messing with my dog. Will just go in there looking for rodents or lizards or something. I think it's messed up because she has those eye problems and there's these branches sticking out. So I got rid of the thing. I took a saw to it and I just got rid of it. Right. And
so you've been working out with the tree?
Yeah. So because I had to I had to take it. It wasn't it's not like one, just a bunch of little branches coming out, but one of them was relatively large. And so I got it and I sawed it off and I put it on my shoulder and I ran up to the back of my backyard to the third level there. And I disposed of this is a heck of a workout right here. But then I'm 43 and out of shape. So that's kind of different than the elite athletes.
Multiple times.
Yeah, right.
Multiple times.
Yeah.
And then you'll be in Von Wagner shape.
This is where I want a lot of those. Oh, that's right. We're calling them MFTs over at my channel points are called MFTs. Here we have channel points. They're there because MFT. That's what we're calling them.
I get it.
It's like NFTs.
I get it.
This is where I want a lot of those MFTs here on this match.
Oh, because you rightly assumed that Von Wagner was taking this L, huh?
Correct.
But then he had his foot on the rope or something, right?
Yeah, he had his foot on his rope, so it was protected.
Such as it was, yes. But an L, I guess in the record books, the L will be an L despite Von Wagner and Kyle O'Reilly's apparent protest, which we heard about but never saw. This was a fun enough match. Legado are a fun team. I thought early on they were going to do a bit where we're going to get a can they coexist storyline between Von and Kyle because at one point Raul Mendoza drop kicks Von and that sends Von into his corner right into Kyle O'Reilly, knocks him off. but it ended up not really playing into anything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
At all.
Yeah.
Anyways, at the end, Kyle O'Reilly tags in Von Wagner, and he's like talking strategy. You go there, I go here. And right as they're about to do that, Raul Mendoza drop kicks Kyle O'Reilly, and then Joaquin Wilde rolls up Von Wagner, who apparently had his foot on the rope.
Yeah, they're not a terribly good team. So when you put them in there with an actual team,
a really good team,
a real good team. Yeah, they're not going to do great. No. After that, we had a Carmelo Hayes, Trick Williams interview. Hayes says, back to business. Of course, when we shoot, we do not miss. We're not doing that Scooby-Doo business this week. Andre Chase walks up, who's honestly the most, for my money, one of the most confident, self-aware dudes in the company, in this brand, who knows what he's doing, knows what his role is. It's great. He walks up. He's like, hey, man, I'm still alive. Since you guys had my back last week at that haunted house, I'm going to have your back this week. And Hayes and Trick are like, yeah, we're not really sure we want that. And then Mackenzie asks Chase about talk that because of what happened last week that he might be a coward. He gets pissed off. He says, no one calls me a coward. And because of that remark, someone's getting an ass whooping right now. So his Bobby Knight character is about to head to the ring. But first, more Duke's poker room.
Yeah, so Grimes is still in the game. He's not even paying attention. He calls the hand. He thinks he might be beat. Instead, he turns over a flush. He says, all I have is diamonds. And they're all like, diamonds? You have a flush. And that's when Duke says, enough beginner's luck. Let's play some cards. And I guess that's when Duke turns it on and starts clearing the table, save for Cameron Grimes. And Duke says, hey, you're going to have no shot, whether it be with the ladies or against me, heads up.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then we have one more segment later on. But first, Andre Chase versus Braun Breaker.
Ooh, bad guy to do it. Yeah, so Chase picks up the mic. It doesn't work. He chucks it. He gets another mic.
He chucked it with
oh my God, yeah. Like
aggression.
He threw it right towards commentary, but it was like at the floor. But man,
that was great.
He says, I'm not usually the kind of man who responds to baseless rumors, but I was told that people are calling me a coward. He says, normally I'd be furious with anyone who called me that, but what we have now is a teachable moment. What we're going to learn is that Chase fears nothing. The only one to fear around here is Andre Chase. And then Braun Breaker responds, and Andre Chase looks like he shit himself.
Yeah, he should, because Braun Breaker wrecked him.
Oh, yeah, big time.
Wrecked him. Basically a squash match. Destroys him, wins with his press power slam. Braun gets on the mic and says, last week, I failed. Ciampa set trap after trap, and I fell for everyone. He took advantage of my inexperience, and it's only fair that I say that Ciampa is the man in NXT. He says nothing that pisses me off more than losing. And if Ciampa thinks we're done, he's wrong. I'll get another shot at the NXT title or die trying.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'm going to die trying. Get a dog. After that, we had an Imperium interview. I like these. My only thing about it is that I wish it wasn't presented as if it's live, because the translations, I love them talking in their native language. I think it's great. They have the subtitle translations. They're happening in real time, so like prior to them actually speaking. So I just wish it was given a different visual language, so that it didn't come off like this is happening live. Why is the translator jumping the gun,
translating
here?
What they haven't said yet?
Yeah,
is what it is, because as soon as they start speaking, the entire sentence
pops up. Yeah.
So it just
some sort of time travel aspect.
Well, it's obviously these are scripted promos.
Yeah.
And there's nothing live about it. And I guess that's the thing. I agree with you. Either do it live and either do no translation, or have them put a little English here and there to punctuate things.
Yeah.
Or do these pre-filmed,
Yeah, and Forster says even a moments ago before the pro, if it says moments ago,
exactly,
that would make sense. This is
earlier today.
Just little things like that to make it less, subliminally confusing.
Yes.
Anyways, Bartel says after their outstanding performance, they are the tag champions. Eichner says nobody can keep up with them, and then Gigi Dolan and JC Jane walk up to them and congratulate them. JC says, we just found out we've got a 6-woman tag match next week, and we think we should watch, or we think you should watch us. And Bartel, they walk off, and obviously Imperium are enthralled with Toxic Attraction. And Bartel looks over at Eichner and says, the mat is sacred, but America has its benefits. So,
and then after that, we had Lashing Out.
What is it? Blue Chew promo code GIR?
Something like that, yeah. Next, we had Lashing Out with Tony D'Angelo. I know Steve is looking forward to this.
I love this. I absolutely, another guy who just knocks it out of the park. I love this stuff. So first up, Lash gives some grades to the costumes from Halloween Havoc, but then more importantly, she introduces Tony D'Angelo. Finally, hey, Tony's here. So he takes a seat, and Lash gives him, with good reason, some shit about her producer disappearing. Yep. Lash says, but Tony's in for a surprise because Mark is here in the studio. And Tony was like, hey, what am I, a magician? How'd he disappear? So she brings out Mark, and sure enough, he's in a sling. And Tony's like, Tony has all this oddly specific info about his family and his and his address and stuff. And he's like, hey, say hi to your family. Yeah, this guy over here, he's got it made. He got the family, you got the house with the swing in the front. Hey, say hi to your sons. And he says their names. It's like Frankie and Johnny or whatever. And he does. And of course, Mark is being very apprehensive about the whole thing. And he was like, Tony tells Mark to tell Lash that everything is fine. He's like, tell her everything is fine. He's all threatening the guy right in front of everybody.
Yeah.
And Tony says his goals are to make some money and hurt some guys along the way. He calls out Loomis, Gargano, Pete Dunne, Ciampa. And Tony says he wants to wrap it up. And Lash is like, no, nobody tells me when to finish. So he slips her some money, tells her to go get something nice. Mm-hmm. I thought this was hilarious. I think Tony D'Angelo is great.
He knows his character. I'll give him that.
Yeah, he does, because you can see it in like 50 different movies out there. So, and TV shows.
After that, we had the in-ring debut of Solo Sikoa taking on Jeet Rama. Another squash match. Solo wins pretty easily and convincingly with a splash off the top.
Yeah, it was a stiff one, too.
Yeah, it was.
He got air on it and just landed on this poor Jeet Rama. Apparently, Jeet Rama's been in developmental since 2015. Mm-hmm. So, he's getting some TV time now.
Yep.
We had a Briggs and Jensen video package where they are, it's like an odd couple, but like they're not. Like one dude is with his buddy playing cornhole. The other guy is with his buddy playing horseshoes. One guy likes his steak super cooked. The other guy likes it rare.
Medium rare, yeah.
So, yeah.
This feels...
Go ahead.
This feels like a can they coexist situation.
Well, everything is now, yeah.
They're highlighting their differences. The one thing they have in common is like fight and be tough.
Yeah.
But they weren't even doing these recreational activities together.
No, they
weren't. Learning from each other. You know, maybe Briggs doesn't know how to play cornhole. Maybe Jensen doesn't know how to play horseshoes.
Yeah.
These seems like these could be team building exercises for them. Jensen could cook up a super overdone steak and try to convince Briggs, hey, this is good. Vice versa. Briggs would say, this is how you're supposed to eat a steak, medium rare.
Yeah.
And this is why.
Yeah.
I don't get why they were doing these things separately when they're supposed to be a team.
Mm-hmm.
It was like, here, this is a vignette for our team. Let's highlight every single one of our differences. The only thing that we have in common is we like to fight.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's the point of it, right? Like, I'm trying to think. I'm trying to think of the point of it, and I guess, I mean, my main issue with the can they coexisting, I'm not opposed to that because the odd couple is a tried and true trope.
It is,
right?
They go that well too often. That's the issue.
So that to me is it's not the number of times they go to it. My problem is when they do it like the Big E Drew McIntyre, or when they did it with like the participants in the Crown Jewel Women's SmackDown match. It's like, why are you doing it? Like, they're about to have a match. Why should they coexist? These guys found each other in a bar, had a bar fight, fought the rest of the bar, I guess, and then came together like that, right? So there's not a lot of common ground there in the first place. Besides, they like to drink, they like to fight. I just don't know what the point of this was.
That's what I'm saying. If the point of this was they're learning about each other, then they kind of have to do these activities together.
Yeah.
Instead of separately.
Yeah.
So there's this package seemed to completely highlight their differences without them making any effort to bridge those differences. You know what I mean?
On top of that, one of these guys clearly is playing a character, and I don't even know about the other guy. Jensen seems relatively legitimate. Briggs comes off as like the most not legit. Like, I just don't believe anything he's saying or doing. Like, I've seen him in other wrestling things before, and it's just not, it's obviously not him. He's playing a character.
Yeah.
So, like, why can't you go down that route? It's like, hey, I don't know. I know nothing about Briggs beyond, the few things that I saw, but it's like, hey, I was just a dude in a bar looking for a drink, and then this guy, like, why do they both have to be like similar but different? I don't know. I don't get the whole thing. It's like, I thought that the whole point was that they were like kind of the same. I know. I thought that was the point. Why do you have to shoehorn the fact that they like their steaks different?
Well, I don't mind that. It's like, but if there's no, sure, they like to fight. They have that in common. Otherwise, they're seemingly, that's what they want to tell us, completely different people.
Yeah.
But if you're going to highlight that, have them highlight that while they're doing things together, so they're learning about each other, and their bond is about more than just fighting. I
like this. Jonathan says cooks his steak the way Von Wagner would cook it. What if like that's what they should do? It should be like a swap situation where they're like, hey, I got more in common with Von Wagner, and the other guy's like, I've got more in common with Kyle O'Reilly. I like mountain biking, and then they just like swap partners.
Maybe.
I don't know. I don't get the point of it.
I don't get it either.
After that, we had Boa versus Grayson Waller. No, this was the match that I won all those points on.
Oh.
I got both of these right. I think that with the combination of them, those MFTs came my way. Anyways, LA Knight was on commentary. That should have been the first clue that Boa was going to win this match. Because Knight leaves commentary, distracts Waller. Boa hits a head kick for the win. Mm-hmm. And of course, LA Knight walks away. So I'm sure next week
we're going to get Grayson Waller versus LA Knight. Yes,
or I was going to say no. It'd be 1 week where Grayson
Waller costs LA Knight a match, and then they'll have their match, and then LA Knight will probably win that. Go back to Duke's poker room. So there's a situation where, as mentioned earlier, so I think this is pre-flop. So they have their whole cards. So the whole point of this is that Duke wants Grimes to fold.
Mm-hmm.
So pre-flop, he just puts in, I think he says 500, just a little bit. First Grimes checks, Duke puts in 500, and then card 1,000, and then the fifth card comes out, and the Duke's like, all right, all in.
Mm-hmm.
And granted, I don't know a ton about poker strategy, but it just seemed like the strategy was off. If you have two aces, is you want to try milk money out of somebody,
right? Yeah.
So to try to milk money, you got to put a little bit more than 500, and you got to stacks of chips, and so and at the end, all in. Well, if he's going to call, odds are he has something pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, you're walking out of the hand with $1,500.
Yeah,
it's
right.
like from a strategic standpoint, it didn't make much sense.
Yeah.
Anyways, Grimes doesn't fold. Instead, he calls when Duke goes all in, and he says, "Oh, typical Grimes, you're going to come up short." Grimes turns over his pair of twos. He's got a full house. Hudson only had a pair of aces.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so he did the to the moon thing.
He said, "You beat me with a pair of twos to the moon." Oh, that was funny.
It's just not. It's not good stuff. And like, if they're gonna, I just feel like if I'm supposed to believe that Duke is good at poker, then research how someone is good at poker when you write this stuff.
I kind of don't even care about that, to be honest. I mean, that's a good point. They should. You'd think that'd be the bare minimum, but whatever. Yeah, that'd be the bare minimum. Duke plays this so humorlessly. If it was like Swing, I don't remember anything about the actual card playing in Swingers Palace. I think they were just betting on matches or something. It was like,
I think so. It was completely secondary.
Yeah, right?
Like the actual casino game aspect of it.
So like, you don't need to be so specific with all your poker playing with this. It's like, but you need to have some sort of chemistry, some sort of like comedic hook. Duke is playing this like so seriously. It was, I was like, why are you doing that?
Yeah.
But maybe you're right. Maybe he's trying to tank it. After that, we had a Kaylee Ray video package similar to last week. She's going to be showing up soon. She's still in that rage room though. Then we had a very quick Tian Sha video package. Bo walks into the room. Mei Ying is, no, she's not there this time. That's right. He kneels, he turns the camera, then all of a sudden he's got this really cool looking face paint on.
And then he does the smoke thing that she had been doing.
Yeah. So is he now the final? Is she getting called up also to?
I don't know. Maybe they realized that Mei Ying in the brightly lit
It doesn't work.
Arena does not work.
Yeah. Why don't they, dude? Look, Xia Li's about to show up on SmackDown. Put them together as a tag team. They need tag teams.
They do.
They were a faction together.
Then we got a Tommaso Ciampa promo. He says Halloween Havoc was all about the changing of the guard in NXT. There was a shift. They had a bunch of new champions, and Braun Breaker was supposed to become new NXT champion. Problem was, no one told that to Ciampa. He declares himself the god of NXT. Says with that title comes great responsibility. He's got a target on his back, and this is usually the time, I believe he's going to say, when someone steps up. And he's interrupted by Carmelo Hayes and Trick Williams. Carmelo says, I hate to be that guy, but I'm going to be that guy. And I say this with all disrespect. I'm the one that's come out to put you in check. He says, if you look around, it's not about y'all anymore. Y'all, I believe, referring to NXT veterans.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
There's a new school on the rise, and I'm the leader of it. And I want to tell you this. As long as I'm in NXT with North American Championship, you will take a back seat to me. I'm the A champion, and that's it. Mm-hmm. And then Ciampa says, Carmelo, you almost had me, and then you took off your glasses, and I looked in your eyes, and I thought to myself, damn, he doesn't believe a word he's saying. Oof. He says, but if you want to prove yourself, if you're feeling froggy, then jump.
Mm-hmm.
And then Trick says, well, we're in the main event tonight. The world came to see Trick and Carmelo. And then Ciampa just hits.
Oh, sucker punch. That was great. That was awesome. This next moment was really fantastic, too, because then Ciampa leaves. And then the Way show up. Gargano's their match, obviously. Gargano comes down, and then they have a moment where Gargano looks at the title and is like, looks at Ciampa. He's like, it's been a long time. And I was like, oh, that was nice.
I like that when Johnny first comes out. Like, Ciampa has his back to him. He's kind of looking over his shoulder. And Johnny acts like he has a crutch in his hand.
Yeah.
Swing at him.
It was good. I love that stuff. That was really good.
It's pretty funny.
So yeah. Then we come back from commercial and we get that match: Johnny Gargano and Dexter Lumis versus Carmelo Hayes and Trick Williams. Of course, the highlights of this. This is actually a really fun match. Mm-hmm. Gargano mimicking his son-in-law's stuff, doing the moving around on his hands thing, you know, at the knees, and then just Lumis freaking out. Carmelo Hayes and Trick Williams are really playing up the comedy aspect of stuff. So I thought it was a really fun match.
It was fun. It was a fun match.
In the end, Carmelo and Trick Williams are able to pick up the win thanks to a distracted ref and Trick Williams whacking Lumis on the head with a shoe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then Carmelo got, that awesome top rope leg drop of his for the win on Lumis.
Yeah.
So, that was good.
Yeah, it was
stuff.
Fun bout.
Anyways, let's go ahead and answer some questions. If y'all want to load up some highlighted messages here on the Twitch, I will check to see if anybody dropped us any questions over here on the
Sounds good.
Patreon. Looks like we've got 6. Patreon is a new app here. Oh, here we go. Okay.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I got this from White Brownie. Says Nova Kell last night. Is it safe to say she's pretty much done with NXT? She'll have she'll have the story with Dakota. Then after that, maybe.
Yeah. They're definitely gonna do the thing with Dakota and Raquel. David Matushek says, should Duke's Poker Room continue as a starter for future feuds? I always loved how they did. I mean, if they're gonna rip off, Impact did it so well. It was like it was sort of like the glue. You know, like it would always go back there and like people would show up and stories would start and some stories would end. It was sort of the glue of Impact. I really liked it. It sort of expanded the universe a little bit. I mean, if it continues in this way, as it's such an isolated thing just for Duke to like get mad at people, it's not going to work. Like make it more of a living, breathing type thing and add some shit to the background. It's like, I mean, in my head when I'm remembering it, it's like all just in darkness, and there's like one, Yeah, there's like a couple people.
What you're asking for? You want to see the back wall so you can see all the shadows on them, like they had Swingers Palace.
Well, you're NXT. You can afford just like some real TV production. Impact really needs to add something to that.
No, Jeremiah P says, so we got the poker player gimmick, then the karaoke and dance match last night. What other game night / night out with friends scenarios do we see in 2.0? Jeremiah says, I think we get Tony D'Angelo going after someone for the debt they owe them on betting horses.
Well, it'd be like that scene in Mean Streets where they're at the pool hall and they have a big fight at the pool hall. So pool is the answer.
All right. What are there
Billiards.
What other game night games could they have a thing?
Well, I mean,
like have someone be really good at Trivial Pursuit.
Oh yeah.
And that's their gimmick.
Yeah.
There you go.
It's just smart. Yeah, it's just a guy who has a lot of useless knowledge.
Uh-huh.
But it pays off because they played Trivial Pursuit.
Exactly.
Joe Hansen says after Boa and Mei Ying if this is the end of Mei Ying's character, what was your favorite Tien Shaw moment? There weren't a ton of them.
No, there weren't.
There were not a ton of them.
No. Their music was really good.
Their music was really good. Their origin story vignette, the animated
really
thing.
Good.
Yeah, I'll go with that. The cartoon.
There
the Tien Shaw cartoon.
Yeah, that was really good. Favorite customer.
Enforcer says the game night should be red light, green light.
Oh, gosh. Favorite customer. Who are the next 3 2.0 guys to win the NXT title? So they got themselves in a situation here with Carmelo. You know, he says when he shoots, he doesn't miss.
Mm-hmm.
So if he's going to take aim at Ciampa on that title.
Well, what did we say last week? I think it was last week. How, given how much we know, like the only person that Shawn Michaels taking a picture with is Carmelo Hayes. We know he loves Carmelo Hayes, right? He probably regrets. He probably was like, whoa, I thought Vin Man was going to have Braun Breaker be the first champion, but he called up me and was like, left it to me. But I already put the North American title on this Carmelo Hayes guys, but I really love him. So now he's like, hey, Vin Man, how about Carmelo Hayes is a double champion? So maybe it's going to be Hayes.
It could be. I would not be surprised. I mean, in no particular order, I would say Hayes, Braun Breaker, and then
Gacy.
After that.
Yeah, after that, it'd be Gacy. Yeah. Moses opposes. What matches would you put together for TakeOver to attempt to maintain the high level people expect from a TakeOver? I'd go Ciampa Gacy.
I'd go Ciampa Hayes.
Well, don't you want to spread it out a little bit though? Because Gacy's a good wrestler. He's a really good wrestler.
They just had a match not that long ago, so I just something new.
Okay. Ciampa Hayes. Gargano Gacy. They both have big guys. Loomis and Harland.
Yeah.
That could work. You'd probably go for TakeOver. You're going to do Dakota Kai versus Raquel Gonzalez again.
Yes.
And that's going to be a good match.
That would be good. Probably EO and Mandy.
EO and Mandy. That actually would be a good match. That's going to be a good match. What would you?
They'll actually probably do Gargano and Hayes for the North American title. That's what they'll probably actually do, and that'll be really good.
That'll be good. What would Ciampa do then?
Von Wagner.
Oh, it's a bad idea. It's a bad idea.
White Brownie. So EO is obviously pinning Mandy next week, which will lead to a title match at the special event TakeOver next month. Will that be EO's last match in NXT before getting called up?
I'll believe it when I see it.
Yep.
I'll believe it when I see it. Let's see here. This is a good question from the Enforcer. How long before Duke needs a loan from Tony D'Angelo? Where could that story go? Maybe it'd loosen Duke up a little bit.
Maybe.
Duke needs to go to Andre Chase University.
maybe this is just the direction he's being given. You got to play this super serious.
Mm-hmm.
I understand the idea that Grimes is so goofy. You need someone for him to bounce off of, but there's nothing there. There's no charm to it. That's right, what I have take issue with more with it than not being funny. There's just no charm to it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree.
Like he tries to be charming, but there's no charm to it.
Yeah. Xavier Gray says, this isn't related to NXT 2.0, but I've been rewatching the Mae Young Classic 2017. And I have to ask, why did WWE just suddenly give up on Kairi Sane? They just didn't know what to do.
Yeah.
They have a hard time crafting stories in a form of entertainment that really requires you know how to tell stories.
Yeah. It's kind of like the most important part of professional wrestling from a booking standpoint is telling stories.
Yeah, you got to know how to tell stories, and they don't really do that very well.
Yeah.
All right. All right, that's going to do it for us. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. We appreciate it. Twitch chat, stick around. We'll answer some more of your questions. Until next time, we'll talk to you later.
Goodbye. Got some subs here. Maggie gifted a sub to Dan. Thank you, Maggie.
Also, a bunch of others. She gifted like 5 more subs after that. Oh, it's not letting me do that.
I'll get to it. Dabbing with Dan with the sub for 4 months. Says here's many more. Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
Excuse me.
And there's Mag. Okay, double to Maggie gifted to Double Wave, Jordan plus Alpha, Tyler Putt Putt Jr., and Sylvis the Slayer.
Thank you, Maggie.
Man, I watched the What We Do in the Shadows last night with the Siren.
Yeah.
Wasn't that funny?
No.
Like, it had all the makings for good comedy, but it just wasn't really like, it was the same one where they had was that the same one? I think it was the same one where the doll ran away. And it wasn't really that funny.
That seems to be the whole season. Like, there's makings for good stuff, but rarely does it really feel like it comes together.
Yeah.
Like, we finished the season, and it kind of ends in almost kind of a cliffhanger a little bit. But like, again, there's ingredients there. I just don't know. Didn't really feel like it. Rarely did it really connect.
Yeah.
All the pieces, except for the Atlantic City one. That was good.
Yeah, that was
the Baron
good
episode.
Yeah, the Baron episode was good. Hurricane sub for 5 months. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Hurricane also gifted a sub to Steve O. Thank you very much.
Oh, thank you.
Burr Winning says, who would you put in a Chase University faction? You'll need 1 to 3 guys and 1 to 3 women. That way you can have a mid-card guy, a tag team. That's a lot of people. Chase University faction.
I kind of feel like it needs to be. This is what they should do. So every time they sign a new Performance Center class,
then
they have to actually go through Chase University.
That's good. I'm not entirely sure they don't, because like that class is filled with somebody.
Yeah, but I mean, like, for reals, where he actually, they actually do something beyond just a couple backstage vignettes.
Mm-hmm.
And that way, there's stories you can tell during that period, and then when the new class comes in, you got a fresh new faction. That could be fun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Profound Magician says, so Odyssey Jones isn't a big player on NXT like we thought he would be. Yeah, it's kind of interesting.
Yes, that is actually very interesting. I figured that he'd be like a slam dunk, but
me too.
Again, we're not there. We're not backstage. We don't know what they see, what they don't see.
White Brownie says to you, grizzled young veterans beat Kushida and Ikemenjiro on 205, by the way.
Why don't they rebrand that? It shouldn't bug me. It really shouldn't bug me. It bugs the crap out of me that it's called 205 Live still.
I know, me too.
Like, I'm sure it's not as easy as just like rebranding because they've got like maybe TV deals, or like on Peacock, they have to like do stuff. Maybe they have to start like a different, but it just bugs the crap out of me. I don't know why. It shouldn't.
I mean, I understand it takes time to have those conversations and get assets and stuff. But you'd think that, it's been several weeks since they started.
It's been a while now. It's been more than a couple weeks. Yeah.
It's been a while. Like, you think in that time, it doesn't seem like to me a situation where they can't do it or they have to take time to it. I still feel like it's a priority, so they don't really give a shit. You know?
What is the I'm gonna look at it. What is it on? Hulu?
Yeah.
Or Peacock? Is it on Hulu?
I know the old episodes are on Peacock.
Somebody tell me where I can find 205 Live, please.
I think it is on Peacock. I think it's Main Event that's only on Hulu or debuts on Hulu.
Yeah.
Dang MQ, when Solo goes up to Maine, well, they acknowledge his brothers. Yes. I mean, they kind of do in NXT.
Yeah. They kind of do. They make reference to, they're sort of abstract about it. But yeah, absolutely. You can't not. I mean, dude, he just looks like exactly them. Be weird if they didn't. Let's see here. Dabba-da-E. I was just curious about... Oh, here we go. Featured series. Wait a second. When we get done with UK,
yeah,
doesn't it usually go to a 205 Live?
Yeah, an older one.
It's not in featured series.
Well, if you search for
like everything else is. 205. Results. Here we go. 205 Live. All right. The latest episode. Okay, there we go. Odyssey Jones versus Roderick Strong.
That was last week, right?
October 15th.
No, that was more than last week.
It was quite a while ago. Do they still have like the opening intro? That's what I want to know.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, somebody in chat probably could have told me that. All right, we got that. I think they're just going to launch into the show. God, this opening graphic is so long.
Yeah, I know.
It's fucking 25 seconds long.
Jeez.
It's a full 30 seconds long, that the And Now Forever Together shit.
It's so long.
Yeah, all it is just, it's just like they focus on the NXT branding, but then they have like one random board up there that says 205 Live.
That's so weird.
I'm going to see if do they even have a Tron in their ring? Everything else is the same. We got Briggs and Jensen versus, who are these guys? I don't even know who they are. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, at the very least, they don't do that intro anymore with like the little 205 guy. Apparently, he's been retired.
It's got to rebrand the whole thing. Just do it.
Call it NXT Dark.
Something like that.
NXT Motivation.
2.1.
Motivation. Oh, 2.1. That's good. That makes sense. Anyways.
Rate somebody?
Yeah, let's rate somebody. We got a healthy crowd here.
Riff Tracks. They have a Twitch channel.
Riff Tracks. What's Riff Tracks?
Isn't that the follow up to Mystery Science Theater?
Oh yeah. They do. Yeah. What is Good Day Internet?
Watching a movie.
Let's see here. Bruce Green says he's unpacking. What is he unpacking? Oh, that looks like a video game. I thought
is there a video game called Unpacking? Yeah, it does look like a video game.
I thought maybe he was actually unpacking stuff.
That's interesting. The Sweets is on, playing Alien Isolation. Is it just Tyler Breeze? Yep.
Breeze. Oh, it's time for our Tuesday bet about Black Mass Official. Okay. I think it's going to be the dude with the glasses that's there all the time now. One guy.
Yeah, I think it's just going to be the one.
It's going to be just the one guy? All right, here we go.
Yeah, the one dude.
Let's find out.
And Matthew's on. It's just Ray Matthew.
Yeah, we're just going to... Oh, hey, we got it right. It's just the one dude.
Yeah, that's kind of been the case for a while.
Yeah, we're going to bug Matthew. We're going to do that.
That sounds good. That sounds good.
Start raid. All right. Give him our love because we love Matthew. He's terrific.
We do.
And hopefully we'll see all of you guys tonight for AEW Recap. Talk to you guys later.
Goodbye.